So let's go ahead and turn in our notes to the back of page 21. And I think if I kept good notes here, are we ready for number 6? Yep, all right, good deal. All right, so here we go. We're switching gears. This is not what was on your quiz. We are solving this equation. So a couple of things before we jump in and do this. Notice when I recopied my problem, I factored the last denominator. We talked about this last time, but in case you've forgotten, why don't you make a little note over to the side that before you start the problem, all of your denominators, the denominators, need to be factored. So if any denominators are factorable, you need to factor them. So that is the first thing I did right here. I factored that denominator by pulling out an x. Look at what's written on the paper. Look at what I wrote here. I factored out an x.
Mrs. Ford?
Yes?
Where are we in our notes?
We are on the back of page 21, problem number 6.
Did we finish number 5?
Yes, I believe we did.
Oh, okay. I just didn't write it down, I guess.
All right, so here we go. I have factored my denominators. So now I'm all set and ready to go. Who remembers how to start?
Yeah.
I'm going to multiply by something. What am I going to multiply by? You are exactly right. What am I going to multiply by?
The x and then the x plus 1.
Exactly. Very good. X and x plus 1. And I have to do it to everything, including the 0. But of course, it isn't going to make any difference with a 0 because when you multiply anything by 0, you're still just going to get 0, right? But it is important that you recognize you have to multiply every single thing. Now, who knows why we did that?
To cancel out everything in the denominator.
Very good. So you did that for one reason, and it's the reason Clara said. We're going to cancel out the denominators. So this x is going to cancel with this x. And all that I'm going to have left here in the beginning is x minus 3, x plus 1. And I'll deal with that in a minute, but that's what's left because the x is canceled. Minus. Now all I have left here is 3x. Plus. All of that cancels, so all I have left is 3. That step, you guys, is the most important. Does anybody have an issue or a question about what's happening here? Well, what do we need to do now then?
Shorten it.
Yep, we need to get this thing cleaned up. So we're going to FOIL this out. So x squared plus x minus 3x minus 3. I'm FOILing FOIL minus 3x plus 3 equals 0. Now what?
Combine.
Yep. Everything's all together over here on this side, so I'm just going to start collecting like terms. So I got an x squared All right, how many x's do I have? I have x minus 3x minus 3x. So what is that? Minus
-5.
5x, okay. And then the 3's cancel. So that's all I have? How would I solve that?
Take an x out.
Yep. And then when I set these equal to 0, I get x equals 0 and x equals 5. And then, does anyone remember the very last thing I need to keep an eye out for?
Extraneous solutions.
The extraneous solutions, very, very good. And extraneous solutions are things that would make the denominator 0. So, let's look up at our problem. What happens if I let x be 0? Right here, guys, what happens? If I let x be 0, wouldn't I have a 0 down here? That is very bad. That's an extraneous solution. The only answer to this problem is 5.
Do we need to know that like when you give it on a test, are we gonna have to know that it's just x equals 5?
Well, yes, you're going to have to know that's the only thing that gets written in the answer blank. When
Okay.
you do the problem, you'll come up with this,
Yeah.
but then you have to recognize, whoops, that can't be.
Okay.
Wait, how do you know which one it's not gonna be?
Take both answers and put them back into the denominator. If I put a 5 into these denominators, do I get a 0? Is 5 plus 1 0?
No.
Is 5 0? No.
No.
So there's nothing wrong with 5. 5 is fine. But if I put a 0 in for this x right here, wouldn't I have something over 0? Not good. Not good. Your denominator cannot be 0. We've talked about that since the beginning of all that domain stuff. Remember? X cannot be 0 in this problem because that would make the denominator 0. Now, x also couldn't be -1, but I don't have to worry about that one because I didn't get that as an answer. -1 did not come out as an answer, so I don't need to worry about it. But 0 came out as an answer, and x cannot be 0 because your denominator cannot be 0. So let's look at number 7. And for those of you that are a little concerned about that, right from the beginning, well, wait, right from the beginning, I need to factor this. Don't forget, I asked you to make a little notation over to the side that you have to factor all your denominators. So I factored my last denominator. But now I want you just to look at the problem. And you might, I'm not telling you you have to do this, but if you're worried about, missing something, right from the beginning, x cannot be -2 and x cannot be 1. Right from the beginning, I can see that. These are called my excluded values. And I'll make a note of that right now if I think I might forget to check later. That means that if I come up with either one of these, after I go through and solve, if I come up with either one of those, I got to throw them out. Those are the numbers that make my denominator 0. So x cannot be those numbers. Any other number is fine, but it can't be -2 and it can't be 1. Do you understand what I'm saying, guys? Looking at the problem. Okay, so now I'm going to solve it. And I'm going to do exactly what I did last time. Only, what am I going to multiply by this time? What am I multiplying by?
X plus 2.
And x minus 1. I'm multiplying by both of them. I have to multiply by everything in the denominator. So I am multiplying by both x plus 2 and x minus 1. We did that in order to cancel. So here we go, cancel. Leaving me with 3x and x minus 1. Plus 2. X plus 2. The x minus 1 is canceled. Equals 5. So in the first term, the x plus 2 is canceled. So I have 3x, x minus 1. In the second term, x minus 1 canceled, leaving me with 2 x plus 2's. And in the last term, it all cancels except for the 5. All right, you know what to do next? We'll distribute. I want to double check and make sure. I also subtracted the 5 over. Do you remember from the other day we like to have our quadratics set equal to 0? Does that look okay to everybody? Did I distribute right and add up and all that? I don't think that factors. So what in the world do I do if it doesn't factor?
Quadratic.
Yep, so x equals, here we go, negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So a is 3, b is negative 1, and c is negative 1. Goodness gracious, I got 1 plus or minus the square root of 13 over 6. What do you think? Is that what you got? Well, those sure are ugly answers, but are they extraneous? No, 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 no. The only bad answers would be these. Remember, we identified them right from the beginning? So these are all good, and that is the answer to the question. Anybody have a question about that? Okay, well, I was hoping we'd get started on 2.8, but I don't think we're going to because we're almost out of time. And I don't see you for a whole week. So we'll just hold off on that and we'll start 2.8 next time we're together. All right, everybody? Happy Thanksgiving. Be safe and smart. Stay healthy. And send me that homework whenever you get it done.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Miss Moore.
Bye-bye.
If you turn it, Mark, can you turn it back in if you need to like redo something or like I turned in my 2.7 already, but I noticed I did something wrong already, so can I return it in?
Sure you can. Now, if you gave it your best effort, I'm going to give you full credit for it, Clara.
Okay.
So-
just know that I didn't mark off the extraneous
Oh,
ones. I got
okay.
2 answers. So,
Okay.
like, do you want me to redo those?
No,
or-
you don't have to. Just
Is
it's
it-
good that you wouldn't recognize it. Thank you.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, when's that homework due?
The 2-7 homework is due Monday, a week
Okay.
from today.
Okay. Thank you.
Miss Ford, did you get my email for the quiz? Because I noticed when you were like saying out the names of people who submitted it, you didn't say mine. So I was just wondering if you got it.
All right. Just hang on. I'll have to check. I'm sure I did,
Okay.
but just hang on. Give me 1 second here. Actually, Eli, Katie, Caroline. I do not have yours.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Is it possible to send them now? Because I mean, I still have the picture of like when I did it.
Yep. Send in the picture, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
I can do that. Thank you, Miss Ford.
Bye.
All right, there we go. Thank you, Miss Ford.